Now bring in the chairman of the Republican Senate Policy Committee, John Barrasso of Wyoming. When you listen to that, Senator, I thought Democrats promised before the midterms, we're going to do all these kitchen table issues. We're not going to focus on impeachment. We're going to do health care, the economy, infrastructure.
Well, there are enough investigations going on now. The Intel Committee in the Senate is doing. We have the Mueller investigation, which I think ought to really wrap up quickly. I think that's what the American people want. But the House is going to have to decide whether they want to legislate or investigate. And if we want to focus on quality of life for American people, we ought to be focused on the things that have got us this great economic news right now, which are the tax cuts and the regulatory relief. That's what people at home are happy about, the fact that wages are up, jobs are up, and opportunities have increased.
Well, we don't always pay attention to these snap polls after a State of the Union because, you know, it's just the people who watched. It's not the entire electorate. But something caught our eye. CBS News' Jeff Glor, he revealed that they had done a poll, and here were the results. Watch this.
Following the president's State of the Union, 76% of speech watchers said they approved of what they heard. 72% said they approved of the president's ideas for immigration. But there were some controversial ideas. We would expect to see more supporters of the president watching the address tonight. But, Margaret, the 76% number is notable.
76 notable indeed, because he put these ideas on the table, including immigration. You have that bipartisan committee met again today, and a large number of the American people liked what he had to say.
Well, they did like what the president had to say because it is so much good news. We have a strong, healthy, growing economy. We are strong economically. We're strong politically. We're strong militarily. There's good news for America. The State of the Union is strong. With regard to the committee, it did meet today. The 17 members. These are people that can get a deal done. I talked with Chairman Shelby, the chairman of the committee, this evening. He's cautiously optimistic. He says it's moving in the right direction. You know, they met with the experts on border security. Not the politicians, but actually the professionals. And they said, if you want to secure the border, and we do, and the president is committed to it, you need three things. You need manpower, boots on the ground. You need technology, and in certain locations, you need a physical barrier. That's what the president is asking for. They have come up with the 10 locations that are key. That's all the president is requesting.
You and I both know, Senator, that if this committee suggests something, if Nancy Pelosi's not on board with it, she has vast power in the House and has said, no, no, no on a wall. Are you confident the president's going to get something close to the $5 billion he wanted?
I'm convinced they're going to get to some solution. I hope it's everything that the president wants. But as Ronald Reagan taught us, if you can't get the whole loaf, sometimes you have to take it a slice at a time. The president has other opportunities to get the rest of the loaf. But this committee, I think, is able to come to a solution. You got to follow what the experts say. We need to secure the border. The president is committed to getting it done. And when Nancy Pelosi said it was immoral, it wasn't immoral when Barack Obama built part of a wall. It wasn't immoral in her mind when President Bill Clinton did, or when George Bush.
Chuck Schumer voted for a wall.
So
last question. I have just over a minute. You've been a leading expert on health care for a long time. You wanted to repeal and replace Obamacare. There's been fits and starts on that, at least got rid of the individual mandate. But now in those midterms I mentioned a moment ago, Democrats hit Republicans pretty hard on the idea that you're not doing enough to protect people with pre-existing conditions. You're not doing enough to control costs. The president last night said he wants to control costs. But my last question to you is, where is the Republican plan to actually follow up on that? And actually, now that you've taken out the individual mandate, how are you going to make sure this doesn't spin out of control for families?
You want to allow people to buy insurance that is affordable and appropriate for them so they can get the care they need from a doctor they choose at lower costs. You need to lower costs for insurance. We're doing that with the president's approach to these the association health plans, the
but Nancy Pelosi's
plans.
Never going to go for that. She's running the House.
And in terms of lowering drug costs, the president is on the right track for that. My wife's a breast cancer survivor, 3 operations, chemotherapy twice. As a physician and a husband, I know how important it is to make sure that everyone with pre-existing condition is allowed to keep their insurance and has that insurance. What we are concerned about, clearly, this so-called Medicare for all, which is a complete government takeover of health care in the country, eliminates private insurance for the 150 million people that have insurance.
We haven't heard how they're going to pay for it.
And there's no way they're going to pay for it. So you're talking about higher taxes, fewer choices, and longer lines. The American people will never go for that.
Senator John Barrasso, thanks for coming in on all those key issues. More importantly, we hope your wife is doing well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Senator.